And we're back with party conflict. What are you doing, Scott? Weirdo. I like doing that. That's like one of my favorite stream moves when the camera's on. You know. So you step out of the building. You're in the Aghast estate, which is essentially you're in a walled-off private village. It's a castle though. It's got boarded old walls, pretty walls, statues. Very beautiful buildings, but all very defensible. You know, you've got forges, there's barracks, there's almost a port, a private port. And you're having this conversation. Because Gilwyn, you were told to go to the gold port. Gilwyn doesn't want to go.
Nope. Gilwyn will not go.
So, you go outside. This is a fairly public area. There's a couple of other peeps about. But by now, they're either they're not paying you no mind, or they're not gonna actively, give you trubs.
So Ollie, can you do me a favor?
Mm-hmm.
On Roll20, can you assign me a new character sheet so I can design the NPC I'm going to play for the rest of the session?
Nope.
Actually,
I figure first level fighter, keep it nice and simple. I mean, he'll be an elf, of course.
I have a plan, actually.
He'll hit on Caitlin, steal her heart.
Then the next session, Caitlin will be gone because she'll be pregnant.
Whoa!
Maternity leave.
If you do not wish to come to Goldport, then we go to Northenden first, yes? And we all travel together. Have you been to Northenden? I have, a couple of times by boat. I've not spent too much time in the city, but it is an interesting one. It has got quarters for lots of different races. But it is a human settlement, but with all sorts of different races in there. It is quite peculiar, shall we say.
It's certainly a nice city. I've spent some time there myself.
I'll go wherever you want. I'm just not going to Goldport.
You have this conversation. There's an awkward pause, and almost without you noticing, Caitlin, Lady Pandora walked up behind you. It's only when she starts speaking. The others might have seen it. It's only when she starts speaking that you're like, and you turn and you realize who it is. And as we discussed before, Caitlin, you've been around here for a while. You know that Lady Pandora is someone to be respected, a member of House Aghast. It's beautiful, depending on your preference. Wood Elven woman. She dies in front of you.
And you thought these two were leaving stream. Actually, Ollie's leaving stream.
I'm eating just a bowl of croutons, which is not the best thing for a stream.
Guess what, guys? Actually, Dean's the new DM. Ollie and I are rolling new characters so we can play together.
So, he's the Dean M.
That's bad. So, she got these leopard fur gloves that are very tacky. Well, they would be tacky if you understood. In a fantasy world, they're the gloves of a fur of a strange and rare creature, right?
Yeah, Caitlin would immediately just bow with respect, try to act as respectively as possible, realizing she's there.
Your employer has given you a job. I can give you one that'll pay better and do far more worth for House Aghast. And you... And she's directly looking at Caitlin before her eyes sort of glaze over everyone else. You would do best to help Aghast. He will not be able to get you what you seek. I entirely can.
What is this task, Lady Pandora?
To the east is a settlement named Fafamel. Our house has... Does Forax start giggling at the name?
This word. It reminds me of a meatless burger that you could have. Fafamel. It is very popular with certain cultures.
We have dealings in the city. We run the city. Well, settlement. The woman in charge, by the name of Lareth, she has a friend. A friend who is... I don't know her name, but close. Too close. I wish for you to take this friend and bring her back here. Well, not here. If you take this job, I will give you the location that you will take the woman, and the rest will follow suit.
We will need something to gag her with and a few sets of manacles.
I can provide manacles.
And you will pay better than Valrorian, yes?
Varroy and Halfgast will give you no such coin, no grandeur, no fame. I can make you members of the house if that is what you wish, or if you are independent mercenaries, I can give you coin and I can give you... And she actually, like, touches you. She actually kind of, like, does that to Vale. I give you the freedom that he failed to correctly barter.
Would this is... Firstly, I have two questions, Lady Pandora. Firstly, this is for the benefit of House of Ghast and Aradia as a whole.
This is for the benefit of House of Ghast, yes. Aradia benefits when we benefit.
And secondly, am I correct to interpret your words, my lady? Is this bringing me closer to potentially becoming a knight of Aradia?
Of course. Of course. Do you think that... And she kind of looks towards the building that his office is in. Do you think that will be able to give you what you seek? He could not become a knight of the such order if he wished to himself. I work with knights. I talk with knights. We own knights. We own you. We can elevate you with ease, if you please me. If you please the house. He is not the house.
Yeah. I want the boat. Not a shitty little boat. I want a galleon. I'm not asking for it straight away, but that is what I want.
No. This is good. Your payments, correct me if I'm wrong, Gilwyn, could simply be a title which costs nothing to our friend here, Kathleen, and the rest of us, you pay us in boat.
You wish so much for a boat. That is entirely possible.
Vale's a little bit surprised at Forex. Like,
do you
like,
disagree
yeah,
with this, Gilwyn?
But absolutely.
The three of us become equal shareholders of boat.
Holy crap! Absolutely.
I will say one thing now. Doing one job for me does not a boat make, nor a knight. But I have jobs of more value than a secret keeper has. I keep better secrets than a secret keeper has. I manage every single member of a Ghast. I know the bloodlines. I know the blood. I know what every single member of a Ghast is doing behind closed doors, and I know when to stop things that should not be happening.
Hey, interrupting her. Hey, Vale. He promises you freedom, yes? And after one job, you not get freedom, correct? Sounds like after one job, she not going to give you what you want either. Perhaps her and him are the same.
She does that. She gives that, like, uncomfortably stretched smile. You'll just have to do your duties and see what happens. But suspicion does not breed trust.
Dwarves do not do duties and hope for best. We make deal, and then we both uphold our portion of the deal. Thus far, with the exception of Vale here, because he's an elf too, and so perhaps he doesn't deserve as much respect as the rest of us. Varolian, he has upheld his part with all of us.
If you wish for work for him, I will not punish you for saying no. You are to do something that is, improper. Something that
No,
is...
you approach us. You like the idea of us working for you. We have many options. We could work for many houses. You wanted us. You make deal worth it. You make Vel free this time, not next time, not the time after that. You give her a knighthood this time, not next time, not time after that. And then we talk about both in the future.
She kind of glances.
I do have barter advantage, so I'll totally roll if you need me to.
Yeah, I would definitely roll for this, but either way, she sort of glances to both of them. And she starts speaking, because this point's going to be the same no matter what you roll, even if you roll a crit, right? A knight
what am I rolling?
is not a point, persuasion.
What? So wait, is she an elf? She's an elf, right?
She is an elf, so it evens out.
Disadvantage negates, yeah, okay.
One duty does not instantly force someone to become a knight. You do not understand our ways. I do not understand your ways. You work for me, you get what I promise. You can get your boat, you can travel the seas, you can go to Estana, you can go to the Cardinal Isles. For all I care, you can go to the Mother's Horn, and you can gallivant with the Minotaurs. For all I care. But if you work for me, you will get. If you work for him, you will not. I can promise this one freedom. That is an incredibly easy deal to make. A deal that Valrorian Halfgast has only not made because it benefits him. Because this one would not stay and would not keep his own duties unless his pockets aligned with gold. This one wants to become a knight. This is possible. It is not easy. It is not something that one duty becomes training, trust. These things are possible. But remember your place. And she kind of like, almost like she was slouching, she kind of stands a little higher. You are below me. You all are below me. This is merely fact.
Cat's eyes are sort of sparkling at the moment. She would dart like a slightly sorry glance in the direction that Valrorian had got, like the same direction that Lady Pandora pointed at him. But she would then like immediately bow and just say, "I am yours to command, Lady Pandora."
Good. And the rest of you?
I am not. I'm not
Vale's
both
fingers, like, when she's like, "You're below us," Vale's fingers, like, twitch a little bit towards the pistol, and then he scrunches it into a fist, and he goes, "If you will pay better, then that is what we will do. Please give us details of what you want us to do, and we will do so. I believe this is for the best for Ak. Gil, this way you will still get to travel
follow
with us."
my friends, and I will do part if deal is made, and she will uphold her part if deal is made. However, I am not yours to command. You are just another elf bitch, and you give words with silver tongue that you probably removed from your mouth. Gilwyn?
Now, here's the thing of note of that situation. You insult her, she doesn't flinch. Other members of the house that are just randomly in this courtyard put their hands on their weapons.
Can I roll a
Catelyn
perception?
would flinch like pretty seriously.
You can notice
like,
this.
hearing that.
It's a slow thing that's been happening, but when Thorax says that, you notice that. I mean, there are one or two private bodyguards here, but then just other members of the house who have weapons, because this is the house that makes weapons, are like, this person is straight up attacking Our Lady right now. This is not acceptable.
Cat would probably still be in like a bowing posture, and she would flinch like visibly as well, and like try and shoot a glare at Thorak, but I don't know whether he could see from that angle, but it would just be like, "What are you doing?" sort of thing.
The lady just kind of glances very slowly to Gilwyn, like staring in the eyes, a little too intense.
Well, you are above us, and we're below you, and yet here you are at our feet, asking us to do something for you.
For God's sake!
Vale has already noticed the hands-on weapons, and now he does. He bows at the waist, half, double over, straight the way, right angle. Says, "Thank you for your time, Lady Pandora. We will be back with the requested item before you know it. We are leaving now." And he starts strolling, and he tugs at Thorak's coat, like, "Come on, let's go."
I apologize. As they're going, Cat will remember what she said, and she was, I apologize terribly for them, Lady Pandora. Could you give me the location we are to bring this woman to? please?
You'll take her to a place known as Atweave Spa.
Yes, of course, my lady. And again, I apologise.
They will know what to do.
I love that totally unexplained laugh.
Sorry, I should explain the laugh. This will make sense for me and Neil because we played in this universe. Atweave was a character that was quite heavily involved in the Midwinter Party's quest, so we know what that sort of signifies.
Well, I think it's funny that Ollie's like, no, you should totally choose your disadvantage that you don't like elves and you get disadvantage or everything with elves. I'm like, well, if this is a core aspect of my character, I'm going to roleplay it, right? Session 1. So you guys are working for an elf in Elfverse. This is a planet of elves controlled by elves and all the gods are elves. By the way, the party, all elves.
You enjoyed your time in Dwarven lands, bitch.
I'm like, oh, this is a rough one. Huh? Embrace it.
You're enjoying it.
I hate elves.
Shut up.
I hate elves. Can we go to Gnome Land? I like gnomes.
That'd be cool. You should try and wrangle a way to do that.
I've not had too many good run-ins with gnomes.
You've had a few, but not like you've never been to Gnome lands.
I mean, Gnome
We
lands
went to
don't...
that deep gnome.
Deep gnomes aren't gnomes.
Yeah, we didn't
I've
have
been pretty
too...
deep in a gnome too. But,
Okay, so Gilwyn, she's staring you down in the eye.
You say Swerf Neblin, man. You say Swerf Neblin. Come on.
She's staring you down in the eye. Vale turns to leave. She has a very brief conversation with Caitlin, and then she leaves, and she very briskly walks away to the largest, castliest building. And so as she's leaving, the people who were kind of didn't draw their weapons, maybe one or two of them moved them slightly out of their sheath. You know, they go back to whatever they were doing.
This culture here is so frustrating. In dwarven culture, you tell a dwarven king that he's being dick, it's okay. So long as you don't draw a weapon. You tell him you're an asshole, he'd be like, yeah, just don't draw a weapon. Here you say your shoes are slightly out of style, and they're like, I fucking killed you. It makes no sense.
Her shoes are in style.
Vale leans in for more of a whisper, and he's like, "Yes." And instead, here we work for the person until we learn something that will take them down, or we can kill them, and that is what we can do.
Or we work for ourselves and do things that we feel as though have positive impact in greater. Never mind. I'm realizing who he's speaking to. He's just like, never mind.
And so Vale turns around now and checks like the others leaving, because he's proper like, shit, we're in proper danger here. This is much worse than we've been in before, because these guys will just kill us, given a word, and our bodies will go, and we will never be heard from again. He's like, Caitlin's following. Is Gil? Oh god.
She'll probably be unless Gil was pausing as well. Caitlin would be further back, but she would certainly be following.
Yeah, I'd be pretty much side by side with Caitlin.
Okay, so you leave the Aghast estate, go back into the open towns of Aradia, and I assume you're going to talk.
Sorry, Ollie, can I get the name of the person we're trying to bring again?
You don't know the name of the person.
Yes,
the name of the
it
person who was in charge of that.
You know a female friend of a person named Lariath Aghast, who is supposedly in charge of the settlement of Fafamel.
Fafamel is like the forging district, which I know from Demon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
Fafamel has links to Aghast. She mentioned that briefly.
Looks like we get to stay together, and in the Elven lands, no less. I bet you're pleased, Borak.
I have a question. You say these people, they are even worse than typical elves. Give me details about this beach woman.
Lady Pandora is what's known as a quintel in House of Garth.
Her name is Quintel. Her
Oh, that's her
title is
name,
Lady
sorry.
Pandora.
Okay, I got it the wrong way around. Okay.
I mean, it's entirely possible, like, you would be flumbled on that because elves often go by their titles way more. She goes by her title way more than Valrorian does, but that's because Valrorian is the second secret keeper. He's the lesser.
I think Catelyn would probably get it right though. She
would.
She'd be big officer. Lady Pandora is actually her title. She is effectively in charge of the whole staff of House Agast. She is one of the most important people in the house. It is not wise to make an enemy of her, even if your intentions were to defend us and to do good by us, Sephorak. She could, as I suspect Vale has figured out, she could have us killed in a breath with.
So perhaps we serve her out of fear? Then how do we know what we do?
We serve her until we either get the chance to kill her, or we get the chance to undermine her.
You are working from the wrong angle. You serve her now out of fear, telling yourself lies, so that one day that you are the one in control when likely never happen.
This is how becoming a captain on a pirate ship works.
Okay, fair enough for a pirate ship, but this is ancient elven culture.
Vale is one thing, but I serve her out of. Well, I'm sure by now you realise why I would serve her, but as
selfishly.
Much as...
But she's not respectful. This other man here, he at least has air of respect. Even if I don't like his dirty face, it's not his fault. His parents made bad decision one night, but he is at least somewhat respectful. This woman, she's bitch.
Because he has less power. If he had the same power, the same position, he would be just as rude.
There is also the fact that we have a longer working relationship with Sir Valrorian. I particularly have worked with him for several years. He knows us. Lady Pandora has not had much interaction with us, and I will add that for her station, she was very respectful in her initial offer. It wasn't until you started to insult her, Sephorak, that she started to at least make clear her distaste for those of a lower position.
So,
but this was always there.
We were waiting for Valrorian's minions to bring horses, right? Mm-hmm. Can I keep an eye out for this?
Yes. You can stay on the road outside, right? Yeah.
We're having this discussion right now. As soon as I see horses being brought, I'll be like, these are for us. We're doing a job for Valrorian. Yeah. Thank you.
Right, it'll take a little while.
I mean, if they come while we're waiting. Yeah.
Before we go anywhere, though, Gilwyn, you've been rather quiet since the word of the Golden Port. We're not going there. We've already discussed this, but you've still been quiet. I need to hear thoughts.
Well, obviously, firstly, I'm glad I'm not going to Goldport. And secondly, I didn't expect Caitlin to just turn heel so quickly. That was strange.
Everything I do for the betterment of House Agast and Aradia.
She's the way with these paladins. I should know. I was the strange one for turning heel and wanting to live my own life back at the academy, but it's just the way it is. It's job first, life after. She does not mean it as a slight on you. He is whispering this now, so that you would have to try to listen. And he's like, don't take it too hard, Gilwyn. Unrequited love is it's good for it's good for a bard. Makes a good song. And then there's like a hearty slap on the back.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. Cheers for that. Look, I'll do whatever you want. I'll go wherever you want me to. I'm just not going to Goldport. That's settled. So let's fucking go.
I'll do whatever you want. And Dale's like, Oh, right, no.
Hold your horses.
Right.
Which is quite strange I said that, because horses arrive. Yeah.
Can I make a perception roll? I want the best one.
Sure. Like, literally, it's a very obvious someone wearing, like, the House of Gas symbol, you know, servant of some kind shows up and has got these 4 horses and is leading
That could have
them.
backfired. I could have, like, rolled a 1. Like, yeah, you picked out the best one. Oh, he's a grumpy asshole and he bites you whenever you go near him.
You immediately do your thing, Vale, where you mention, like, oh, no, these are our horses. We work for Gus. And he's like, oh, yes, yeah, he told me that, yes. And minor interesting detail. This guy is clearly a half-elf that Valrorian got to go do this. So he actually, like, just, like, Vale goes up to, like, hey, we're doing this. And he's like, all right. And holds you, like, the ropes. And just, like, holds you the ropes and just, like, goes into the estate.
I turn around and thumbs up.
I do feel slightly bad about abusing Sir Valrorian's trust like this, but I suppose this is the easy way to get to Fafamel.
Mm-hmm.
I do have a question. This boy that give horses, will he be beaten because he gave horses to people that are not using them for a correct reason?
Do elves beat?
Apparently, look at our friend.
Yes, yes, they do beat. I doubt it is. They are still being used for Halsigast purposes.
We are not going to use them that way, but this
we
boy.
are still working for Halsigast, no?
Oh. The structure, I find.
The lady, her name was Quintel Agast. She is a member of the Agast family with higher prestige. It is unlikely that he will be punished.
So she's like second cousin.
She's probably more like first cousin. Valrorian is second cousin. Also, Ollie's kitty is so cute.
I do not know this Ollie, but all I know is that cat is best in soup.
I was gonna say,
Perhaps
I
two.
like cat on the dwarven bread.
I'll eat cat on stick if I must, but for the most part it is dirty creature. I'd rather eat shit-covered bacon.
Should we be on our way? I at this point I select the finest horse.
Yeah, you do. All the horses have a very basic saddle on. This is
I get
not...
the plug.
But yeah, you can select your favorite horse. It can be whatever color you want, Neil.
Oh boy. What's that? Is it what's that sandy color? Is it a
Yes.
bay?
Probably Sandy.
It's a sand horse.
Yeah, I shouldn't have just searched bay, should I? Fuck. Bay horse? Is that the one?
So
Oh my
you
God.
actually get on your horses. The question is, how many of you actually have like riding training?
It's not a bay.
Well, I mean, I don't have any handling.
You don't have military
skill.
riding training, but I feel like the only whether you know how to ride a horse is not skill based in mine. It's logic based. You know. I feel like you
Caitlin,
know.
I would imagine would know.
I think
having
Caitlin
travelled.
might be the only one. Maybe Gilwyn. Yeah, Gilwyn. Not maybe he was meant to, but doesn't really pay attention.
Yeah.
The paladins obviously are trained. Are they trained in horse combat?
Less horses. You may have ridden a griffin briefly.
It's yeah.
They didn't like you. And Thorak doesn't know if he knows how to ride a horse. So you get on and you start heading out of the city. Traveling through this city by horse is not the most easy thing. It's not designed for that. You can do it, and you probably don't go any faster than you would. Are you heading to Faithfulman?
Yeah, let's go to it.
Head in the direction of Fafnir.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is easy. That's basically the same way you left the city last time. You go across this main road through the great green expanse of the Elven lands. And it's a very easy travel. You're on the horses. You can go at quite a speed. It's up to you exactly how fast you want, but if you go really fast... I mean, you're going to make it to that place by the end of the day. This is a very well-maintained road. It's straight. Maybe you might have to stop at a nearby a village near it when you get actually near there, because the last few roads are going to be a little less high quality. But most of the way you're riding easily. Those that aren't so good on horses can be behind and maybe pick up a thing or two. Whatever, you can read you can do the basics enough for traveling most of the way. Do you want to have any horseback discussions, or are you just good to keep traveling all night long?
Do you mean some horseplay?
Yes.
Wow. Quality content we come to olirant streams for.
You know what you're getting.
Cat would probably be giving pointers to the people who aren't as good on horses, but other than that, wouldn't be, unless they bring anything up, wouldn't be talking about much else.
Just for the record, Gil is being quite cold to Caitlin. Like, not mean, but just like, yeah, okay.
Cold. I know what you mean.
Cat would look a tiny bit hurt, but she would get over it quickly. Like, oh, this is the sort of thing that happens when you dedicate yourself to a city. Yes.
Okay. So, like I said, you actually do get there within a day with the horses that you have and the roads. It is very late on the day. It's one of those things where you easily could have waited somewhere on a town nearby, but you would have had to go off your path, and it's way easier to just ride in at night and get a tavern and then deal with things later. Favormel is a elven city that is actually in the mountainside of the Crimson Mountains in. Well, not the same mountain, the mountain range. It's very weird to find an elven city like this built into a mountainside. And it's not like a dwarven city where it's built in, it's built like out and up. Basically, 2 spires. At the top of them are a few tiny plumes of smoke, nothing like the Crimson Mountain. Large wall, but the wall itself is the city. It is the buildings and things, and the main castle is the forge. And then there's like a tavern for travelers and a little bit of living places for people who work there. It's not as big as maybe some of you expected. It's big enough to have a place on most maps, but it's sort of a place that, if you're taking a tour of the world, you wouldn't care about it. You only go here if you need to. But if you want your finest quality elven weaponry, this is where wood elves would say you'd get it from. So you can enter there at the dead of night. It's a sort of place where you're traveling all on horseback, and you've probably got your robes on because it's nighttime and it's cold. And the guards open the gate for you without any actual problems. Maybe Caitlin says you're on a gas business, and they're like, oh, yeah. And they this is mechanically raised and lowered. And you're allowed into the city, and they actually, one of them goes and leads you to the local tavern, which is, a lovely thing. Like, it's actually a floor above, and below it is a sort of a general store, but the floor above is the tavern. Quite a large place. You can easily pay a gold, or you probably only want to pay a gold to get like room and food. And this place is, it's a lot quieter than Aradia. Aradia has a lot of people in it, though it isn't as loud as the Crimson Mountain. The Crimson Mountain has a lot of busyness and a lot of people everywhere. This place is fairly sparse, fairly quiet. This tavern has a lot of people, and they're like elven laborers, elven smiths, elves with significant muscle, elves that are a little tougher than maybe Thorak imagines most elves, and ones that you might see in most of the rest of the city, although, dealing with a ghast, that kind of thing.
Yeah, mixed blood, I gotcha.
Yeah. So you can easily spend a little bit of money, get your rooms, get some food in you. You're not going to do great, but you're going to get some food, get some wine. And I imagine you just want to sleep until morning and then start your job in the morning, right?
Before that, actually, Caitlin would, after she, probably even after the other 3 had gone up to bed, Cat would probably hang around and just make a start. She would sort of just drop. She would talk a little bit to the barkeep and maybe a couple of the patrons who are maybe at the bar, and just be dropping into conversation. Oh, so I heard that Laria Fagast here has a lady friend.
Give me a persuasion roll for this entire thing. And it's up to you guys, you 3, whether you are awake or not at this time. The whole thing is that
Oh, come on!
You say that, and the bartender...
You did ask a blunt question.
The bartender is just sort of like... yes... She does. I wouldn't talk of it. I would hush your tongue, fair maiden. Especially No, you should not talk of this.
My apologies, it was idle curiosity. I will speak no more of it.
Yes, I recommend you do. Other people would be less polite than I would, but I understand as a traveller you are addled by a long night of horse riding, I'm sure.
Yes, quite.
And
I'm sorry.
He kind of goes
retire
back to whatever
tomorrow.
he was doing, but you do note that he definitely pays attention to you for the rest of the night, you know?
So for the duration of the night, while everyone's up, Vale's like desperately trying to get everyone to get along. So he's like working, getting drinks for people, and he's like, you know, trying to heal the rift between Caitlin and Gil, because he's seen this before on ships, and it usually leads to a stab. But he can't handle it when everyone's not working as a proper team, because that's how you win in a ship, when you're a strong, efficient team and you got each other's backs. When you don't, shit gets bad.
Someone else has your back in their hand.
With a knife.
It was bad.
So Vale's like, he's like, I suppose it's fairly obvious if you're paying attention to Vale, like he is trying hard to try and work this one over, and like referencing past trips to, you know, like referencing their times traveling, and like, oh, the other night when we were drinking, something funny that someone did, oh, I was so drunk, you know.
Kat would be joining in. She doesn't want Gil to be angry with her, but she wouldn't be going to like too great an extreme. If he's not reacting, she'd probably like settle down as well and just give up, sort of thing.
What is going on for poor Gilwyn?
It would probably be a thing where at first he's trying to resist it, and then as the night goes, he's like, yeah, whatever. And then I'll sort of join in with the
Camaraderie.
Yeah.
Okay, is Forak just there being a grumpy bastard as Scott tries not to fall asleep?
I'm not falling asleep in the least bit. I'm actually very interested in what's going on. But the it's literally one of those, like, he's very he's more quiet than usual because he's kind of calculating everything right now. The party found itself in a very different position where it was like he understood the guy before.
Yeah.
This person they're working for now is so foreign to him. It's like she eats nothing but raw neutral evil. Like cares nothing about herself. And as a character of his who's truly lawful and then tries to be good, like he just sees like all the alarms going off in his head. Like this woman should be murdered right now. She's horrible. And so instead he's like tiptoeing along with this party who thinks that they're doing good, or at least one of them, but is just like, this is evil. So he's actually really quiet and introspective and observant at the moment, trying to be like, I don't know. And where we are at the moment, everybody seems nice. So, you know.
Forak, I imagine, would actually quite like this tavern. Yeah, everything's made of wood. But the people in it...
Wood.
The people in it, you know, you can understand, like, the conversations they're having are about, you know, stuff that happens in forges, in smelteries and all that, and soldiers, you know. People in this tavern are either, and almost everyone is wearing a slightly different version of the armor that's less, it's not green, and it has the House Agast symbol, which is an arrow balancing on a circle, basically. Mm-hmm. And they're all very clearly, like, they're either talking about their job at the forge or being soldiers here. The occasional people who aren't are just, you know, they're with people who are. So I imagine you actually find that atmosphere quite invigorating, or at least endearing in some way. And Caitlin would too.
Right.
The problem is they're all elves.
Problem is they're all elves. You might see a couple of half elves, but Forak wouldn't necessarily be able to easily tell the difference.
If I see somebody that notices a half elf, I just pity them. It's like, I'm sorry, man. Somebody made a bad decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So you have this night where you actually kind of get back along a little bit, and you have a little bit of friendship. But there's still tension. There's walls. You've built walls between each other, and you're not sure whether you're doing the right thing.
Tramps.
You're not sure whether you're doing the right thing, and you're working. None of you are really sure, and you sleep on it, and I don't think any of you feel much better after a night of sleep, or in Forek's case, a night of doing what he'd do in a room away from people.
just for reference, Catelyn might feel a bit of guilt over sort of basically throwing Valor into the wayside so easily, but she wouldn't feel bad about the actual task or anything. So she'd probably be she'd probably be perky than the others.
Okay, great. In the morning, you wake up to the sound that Thorak and Caitlin would recognize of military drills outside. Actually, no, I think Vale would recognize as well. Gilwyn might recognize that sound more to, are we being attacked? Like metal scraping on metal, clearly the sounds of fighting, but the others hear the inherent noises of the orders and you're doing great, or like a smack or something. And if you look outside of your windows, which look into the inner courtyard, though it's much bigger than courtyard makes it sound. It's like a large play area, but it's less gardeny than you'd find in a raid. It's mostly gravel or stone or wood or paved in some way. There are soldiers being trained, mostly in swordcraft, and you actually notice one or two of them are wielding very particular swords that are shorter than the others, but they seem to be moving much faster with them, as if they're not issued by the wind. And the wind is strong here. There's wind chimes on most of the buildings, or like wind flag type things, or weather veils, and it's blowing, and it doesn't necessarily blow in a very logical way. It's something to do with the not so natural positioning and creation of this settlement that causes very unnatural weather and wind. So you notice that when you wake up and you get some grub in you. The breakfast is pretty good as elven ways go. It's much heartier than you'd get in other places instead of like a single slice of steamed peach. No, you get like a proper hearty, like muesli kind of porridge oats type thing with berries. What random forest berries, sure, but good berries. I mean, you actually see whoever's first to wake, which I'm going to say is Caitlin. You would see, well, first out of your room, you would see like their harvester literally comes in and gives them the berries and like gets the coins and is like, I'm going back outside, and they're like you see because it's a much smaller place, you can see all the gears turning in this place. You know, that's the atmosphere you get. It's a large structure, but a small community. So you're awake, you're having some brekkie. What's your plan? Brekkie.
You know, sugar puffs.
Sugar puffs. What's the slab? The slab that you put milk on.
Shredded wheat.
Shredded wheat.
Weetabix?
Weetabix. Yeah, the slab. Yum, 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 yum.
I'm just not sure what brekkie is.
Guilty
Brekkie.
pleasure.
It's
Little
breakfast.
Weetabix. You butter the Weetabix.
Oh!
Yeah. It's,
I don't know if I like the sound of
Not
that.
done it for many years, but oh boy, you just butter it like toast. It's so good.
My friend pours his full cup of tea into a bowl with 2 Weetabix and just has that.
Well, that's pretty weird.
What?
Ooh, a true British breakfast. So anyway, for the non-Brits,
I have eggs like almost every day.
I don't have
I've been having
breakfast, so
My girlfriend's been making me eggs, and it's the best.
3 eggs a day is super good for you.
Is it?
Is it?
So, is this the conversation you're having, like in the morning? Like, folks, like 3 eggs a day,
Yes.
super good for you, and Vale's like,
You
you
cannot
don't have
just
many eggs when
eat
you're on the
eggs.
sea.
You don't just like crack the egg and then pour the it is goopy and not good. You gotta fry the egg. You want to get to optimal temperature.
Alright.
So the way that you do it is
Sorry, Thorak, say that word again.
which word?
Goopy. Say that word. Say the word.
Oh, you broke him. You broke Scott. There we go. We got it. We got it on camera, folks. Goopy.
What is that?
That's what happens when you break with laughter. You get that squeak. When you can't, that squeak in the wheeze.
Sorry, just
Goo.
it is goopy. It is very goopy.
Well, we all needed that, ladies and gentlemen.
Well.
Thank you.
Oh, red.
Like, Thorak is having this conversation, and the bartender's like, you know what, and like gets you like a fried egg. It's like, it's on me.
You should.
And he
name
actually,
your horse.
the bartender, it seems like this very nice guy, right? And he actually goes to Caitlin, and while they're all sitting around the table, he goes, don't be asking anyone about what you asked me. You will get in trouble. Everyone here is with them, and they don't like being embarrassed. They're very old blood. Very old blood. This is an old blood city. I mean, you
not sure,
are not even any
colleague-
blood. So
Not sure what my colleague asked, but we're actually here to get her a new suit of fitted mail. That is the most important reason.
it does look beat up. She could get it a new one here, that's for sure.
Yes. Once he walks away, Vale's gonna turn to the others and then like put his hands on the table and be like, "That is my idea for a plan. Catelyn is here to get a new fitted suit of mail. We do not have the money to put it where our mouth is, but we need some form of cover. As the man said, we do not want to be asking obvious questions."
This is not a bad plan. Caitlin, for us to make the plan very, you are, the way you speak, very, what's the word? Noble. Like a knight. You probably deserve such a position amongst those people. So, for us to make this plan very believable, what we need is your measurements. Perhaps we should go to your chamber for a moment, and I will take your measurements, and we will make a plan that Val has come up with. I am your personal smith. I know these things very well.
I actually think it might be best if Gilwin were to take the measurements. You see, you are not tall enough to reach all the areas that would need to be measured.
You're telling me that dwarves do not know how to take measurements from Raj soldiers that are say 7 foot tall?
No, because dwarves armor dwarves, and when dwarves don't armor dwarves, they have stools.
Are there no stools about? Genuinely looking around like...
There are the occasional stool. Yeah, there's stools. You can find a stool. In fact, you
Belle's gonna
notice...
shrug. He tried.
You notice that there is
And
a
then,
stool...
hold
that...
Then it clicks.
Ah.
Yes. He take the measurements. I'll write it down which ones you need take. I'll write down like, neck, chest, waist, thighs, upper thigh, lower thigh.
There's a couple of
length
extra ones
of
which
leg.
we don't really need. They're just thrown in there.
The lower back all the way around to the nape. You know what I'm saying? Like all the measurements he needs.
That is fine. Might I request that Sir Gilwin and Vale do most of the talking in this place, then? I'm not sure that I am quite direct in my questions sometimes. It might not be a good idea for me to take the lead in these matters.
Probably best to not mention we are on a ghast business either, unless we really need to.
Yes, quite. As far as, as cover, then I would be a noble perhaps with an interest in elven culture who is travelling here for a new set of armour, and you are attendants or bodyguards or something.
They will not know that you are not a noble. Say you are a noble from Northendon. You have a smith. I am your hunter. You have a bard, a troubadour. Then they will not know. They will treat you with respect, hopefully, and we are happy.
Yes.
We are happy if you are the one buying the sheet whiskey. Then we are happy.
Of course, Safarak, I will buy you some sheet whiskey.
Oh.
Well, off with you two. Come on.
Cheers.
Let's not waste the day.
Actually, can I just buy something for the horse outside?
Sure.
I just want to feed my horse real quick.
Yeah, I don't know how much horse feed is. It is in the book.
He wants oats.
No. Gil wants something special. He's like an apple.
Yeah.
They're all getting like horse feed.
Well, actually, I know the rules for this. Let's see. A whole bushel of apples costs as much as one chicken. Okay, and then a chicken costs as much as about 2.5 bales of hay. Okay, hold on. This, but 2.5 bales of hay is worth a 1/4 pound of salt. Okay.
Well, I found a pound of salt.
Do you follow this? Like, are we good?
Yeah, but a bushel isn't something that you can just divide. It's not like a bushel is
No, it's a
20.
bushel of apples. It's a
Yeah,
bushel.
bushel, I think is actually a very old form of measurement, isn't it? A bushel.
Yeah.
Bushel. I'll eat me a whole bushel of
Oh,
apples.
it's literally here. It's 5 copper of food a day. So you should probably feed your horses, bitches. But this is the kind of place you
Usually
absolutely
horses-
can saddle. You
They
can.
usually hay.
Yeah, but you know he can get some apples and have it be nice. But it's actually when you go back, Gilwyn. I don't know if anyone else goes back with you. Where the stable keeper is like, what business are you on, by the way? I can keep your horses here for the time being, and you will be keeping them fed. But what business are you on? Usually we ask, but you came at so late a time. Did not want to wake everyone.
I'm with my lady, and without her being here, with all due respect, I don't think I really want to say what business she's on.
Okay. Well, here are your apples.
Thank you. Was that you or was that Ollie?
What?
That was him.
Was that the carrots or Ollie? Sorry,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
did that.
I gave him the apples, yeah.
Yeah, no, the carrots.
The guy went like that, yeah. The guy went like that. He's like, oh yeah, I know something. I know what's going on. You don't know what he thinks he knows. You have no idea.
Insight roll him! Insight roll him!
You suddenly hear like a squeaking noise off in the distance. heals my
Your
lady.
logic is that like probably a lot of people come here and maybe humans, right? Because he would have got you in here. I mean, it's not like there would have been a different shift. He's an elf. He never really sleeps
He
anyway.
sniffs the saddles, doesn't he? He's a dirty saddle sniffer, and he's like, 2 humans. Ugh.
I don't know what that
Cool.
was, but that's gross.
Elf.
So, but the thing he figures would be like probably a lot of human nobility or people from other cultures come here for like a private weapon or private armor or something special, and that's what he figures when you're like my lady and like recognizing she had armor, maybe she's some fancy knight from somewhere else who needs like a fancy weapon and it's a secret. So that's why you go here, not like your own forges or something, because that happens a lot. You figure makes sense.
So yeah, I wanna just give a couple of apples to my horse.
All right, as you
And just
feed,
give it a bit of friendly love.
as you feed your horse some friendly apples, we'll take a
Ampersand.
we'll take-
Ampersand the horse.
ampersand. That's a good name for a horse. We will take our last break, and then we will see how they start their quest.
Talk some more at you. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, this is a talking
More
session.
talking, less fighting.
That's how we do it here at Ollie. All right, we'll be back in a bit.